Hey, what's going on, guys? Mangum Sun here, and I know you guys have already seen all the patch notes, heard all the patch notes, and what have you. So I'm not gonna go just read off the patch notes like some I'm reading off the patch notes type of dude. But what I am going to do is that I'm going to go over the patch notes and explain why these things that they're changing in the game are and were so annoying. So for those who don't know, let's say you just started the Division 2 with Warlords of New York, this is why this issue is an issue in the first place. So, nerf damage to out of cover accuracy of SMG used by Red Bar Hyena Assault. Specifically, the Red Bar Hyena Assault. So, that guy would walk up on you with his SMG turned sideways, strafing, and shooting you with the most accurate shots you've ever seen, like he was an ex-Navy SEAL on mission to take you out. And you can't put him down fast enough. Once he pushes on you, you start pushing back on him, he pushes back on you, and then you're down. And then he walks away and continues to shoot his infinite SMG. We shouldn't have had to have dealt with this for so long. The Hyenas is the first faction, if I'm not mistaken, the first faction in the game that you have to deal with on a daily basis. So the fact is that we've been dealing with these problematic sideways toting gangster walking hyenas for a long time now, and we shouldn't have had to have dealt with that for such a long time, because that goes in tandem with the snipers that are in the game that just so happen to just only be looking at you. Even in a group of 4, they're only looking at you and whatever you have going on in your life, and then they want to bring you down after you get stood up by a hyena because you try to put that dude down, and then pow, you get popped in the head, and you're just like, well, I look like a noob. So now it's weird to feel embarrassed in a video game because you got people counting on you to do something, and then they see you got taken out by a red bar. That guy might as well have been a gold bar, because like all the gold bars in the game, gold bars do what they want. They don't follow the rules of the game. And that's where I'm hoping that the aggressiveness of the NPCs that's going to get nerfed, they say it's going to get nerfed, the aggressiveness of the NPCs is going to get nerfed. But I don't know if that's going to fix the aggressiveness of the aggressive NPCs. So we have tanks that barely take any damage from specialized things. They don't take damage from, let's say, the demolitionist. They don't take particularly a big amount of damage from any special weapon, because the special weapons are, I don't think that they were properly tuned to take out what they need to take out. They have a perk on them, I covered it in one of my last videos, that they do reduce damage against named NPCs, which I think is still a silly thing for it to say reduce damage on named NPCs. But when you hit a gold bar, a gold tank that specifically doesn't have quote-unquote armor, they say that it doesn't have quote-unquote armor, that those tanks, they have health. So when you spec into damage to health, you're supposed to be able to melt those guys faster. But I don't think we need health damage, specifically health damage in that right. What we need is damage to weak points. Do increased damage to weak points, because if we were tactically taking out the tank, then destroying all his weak points would be one of the best ways to take him down. But the weak points, I feel, are considered to be pieces of armor. So now you have a split thing that the developers are saying, well, this doesn't do that, well, this actually does that, and then the game says, well, this actually does that. I'm not trying to play ring around the rosy with you guys and he said, she said. The game of telephone is a terrible game, because everything that gets said in that game ends up getting all mixed up and discombobulated. And now we got people making videos. Okay, so getting off a little topic here, but we got people making videos about incoming repairs versus skill repairs, right? Incoming repairs versus skill repairs. the game really doesn't tell you what's categorized as an incoming repair, because if I'm getting healed by someone's hive, that's me receiving an incoming heal. But if I use a preservation talent, that's me actually using a skill to repair myself. Look, the game's not categorized that way. The preservation is an incoming skill. So you have to now spec into incoming repairs, and if you want to heal yourself, you got to spec into repair skills. And so now you're looking at repair skills, incoming. So then you have to do two different sides of the thing, but you can't get a max amount of what you want. You either heal yourself or you heal others, and you're either selfish or you're not. And that isn't a way to play a synergistic game. Synergy is what I'm all about. I like synergy. And if it isn't synergizing with me, then I'm not going to be running it. So the thing about the NPCs, going back to the title update 9.1 that's going to be coming out next Tuesday, May 12th, I think, is that they have the reducing the damage that burn applies. Reducing the damage that burn applies is Warlords of New York hit, and cleaners were everywhere. That's the whole big bad. So it's like nostalgic. Division 1, go out there, go kill some cleaners again. You remember Joe Farrow. Joe Farrow was a big deal because Joe Farrow was like this one dude in charge of all this stuff, and then he built a whole army of these flamethrower toting badass dudes. So the burn damage that they apply, burn damage in the game is basically just a really overpowered status effect. This status effect can immobilize. It can basically, like, it's not like blind you, but it stops you from doing what you want to do in the game, which is ADSing, which is aim down sights to put bullets down range. If you can't put bullets down range, then what are you really doing? You're not doing anything, because that's the way that the game is designed. So the fact that they had such a powerful status effect, and that status effect had to be nerfed, let's say, I think this is, I'm going to say it's the third time. Right, so grenades from the Molotov cocktails got nerfed. Then now the damage that the burn applies is getting reduced, and then the tick damage for burn has gotten reduced. So everything about burn is getting reduced. So again, the NPCs, they have all these cool skills and things to create burn, but our skills that inflict burn are mediocre at best. You got the chem launcher. Everyone goes to the chem launcher. The chem launcher is the new hotness in the streets. That's the thing that's actually working for most people. It does heals, it does ensnare, it does burn, it does corrosive damage, which is not considered poison. That's a whole nother video. It's a whole nother topic to figure out why we have poison damage in the game, and we have a skill that is kind of like poison, but we don't do poison damage, but we have it in the game. If I'm not making sense, let me know in the comment section below, because I can't be the only one thinking about this, of why we still don't have poison damage in our arsenal. We ended up getting the sticky bomb burn, sticky bomb explosion. We got explosions. We got burn. Well, we don't got good burns, like I said. Well, we got burn. Why couldn't the sticky bomb had inflicted some type of poison or corrosive damage? I don't know. But the reducing the damage that bleed applies. Now, NPCs don't really bleed me too often, so that must just be a whole PvP thing with going on with, using synergy with bleed and hollow point rounds and what have you in the dark zone. That's got to be something that's going on in there. I haven't been in the dark zone in quite some time, so I couldn't speak from experience, but because it says it would also affect PvP, so it must be a PvP thing that's running rampant in there. Now, the grenade accuracy right? Going back to synergy. So the NPCs have this tactical thing that they do. They push up on you, right, with that red bar hyena walking sideways. You got a guy in the back who set up a sniper turret, and then that sniper turret ends up going and popping you as soon as you peek your head out of cover, right? Like it's the only thing that it's been watching since, the creation of time. And then as soon as you get popped, either A, you go down, or B, you're using a med kit. Now, there's not an efficient way to keep replenishing med kits, so you try not to use them. So therefore, you're either running a DPS over DPS or a DPS and a heal. And now, if you run a DPS and a status effect, then this makes you less than efficient, because you're running something to stop the enemy from doing something because the enemies are pushing too aggressively on you, and now you're less contributing to the team. So now going back to being you're embarrassed for being less than what your teammates are, right? They're running things like sniper rifle turrets and cluster bombs, and they're running drones that do damage and stuff like that, and or they're running Reviver Hive, one of the only things that you gonna see on mostly 80% of all the players in the game, because we go down too fast. So hopefully these nerfs that they do to the NPCs really makes things better for the game. Now, the NPCs having less accuracy overall is a really big deal, because these NPCs have stupidly good accuracy. Like, I use my flamethrower for my fire starter subclass type deal. I'm a Destiny 2 player, so I mean specialization, subclass, same thing. You know what I mean? You get what I'm trying to say. But having them have so much accuracy, we can't exchange in a gunfight with these guys. We shoot at them, we have to use our sticks and stuff, but they're just on robot mode. Boom, go ahead and scope you. Bam, headshot. Bam, headshot. And it doesn't make it an enjoyable experience. So I think what they said in the state of the game, I did not watch it. I watched people who watched it that told me about it. So it's like, back to the game of telephone. But what they said in Title Update 9 is that they're going to nerf the fact that they're going to be less accurate. So they shouldn't have been as accurate as they were to begin with. They should have the same flaws as us, because when we go into difficult content, we expect to exchange in a fair gunfight with these guys. So now the rogues and the hunters in the game, I haven't been chasing down hunters, so I really don't know, but when these spontaneous random hunters show up, these things that some people say they don't have a problem with, rogues are a problem. Rogues are a problem because they push so hard and they spam skills. They have no skills on cooldown. They can use multiple skills at once. They come in a group of 4 and they're the best thing that's happening ever. They're just too strong, and you have to cheese them just to make sure that you don't get killed by them. So you're laying in the back trying to switch your build up. If you had an aggressive tank build, you got to go to a sniper rifle build, because you can't challenge these guys face to face. If you get face to face with these guys, they're gonna just straight up smack you in the mouth and take your armor down, and you're gonna be down. And then you want a teammate to come out there and pick you up? Nah, you are in the dead zone. So with no respawn, you're shit out of luck. So the NPC's blind fire accuracy. So when we had the NPC nerf to them cross mapping us with shotguns, which I don't understand why that was still in the game in the first place, but I still can get cross mapped by a shotgun. That hasn't changed too much. But as soon as they weren't able to cross map us, they would just hide behind cover, poke just their hands out, and then they would still shoot you with pinpoint accuracy from behind cover, making it so that you had to snipe their fingers right? So people's snipe game just got super good for no reason at all, because we're shooting at fingertips now because the enemy can just do what they want. Now, most of the other changes that's coming into the game, the reduce the frequency of the aggressiveness and the combination of the changes and increasing the difficulty and fixing underlying issues and stuff, and all that's all fine and dandy and stuff, but getting back to the non-fun mechanics of the game, like the hyena RC car exploding on you, restanding you, burning you, putting you in an exposed position while also taking off 100% of your armor, and then inflicting a status effect to you, making you unable to heal, makes you go down. Now you're vulnerable. You're out in the open, you're away from cover, and now someone's got to come up there and be Captain Save-A-Ho and try to pick you up because you were down on your luck, because the game didn't want to respect the fact that we're playing a cover-based shooter. So all this is cool and all, but the biggest things that I want to see is gear set fixes that I feel are underperforming, because they make you give up a whole set of things to run these things. They make you give up a whole gear set bonus, like possibly, well, you will get up to 6 passive skills, 6 passive talents, whatever they may be, increase AR damage or what have you, increase LMG damage or what have you, status effects plus 10% and all that. But using the Negotiator's Dilemma and trying to spec into an all crit build it's possible, but it's difficult. It's difficult because the things that are supposed to inflict critical hits, such as sniper rifles, well, you get a few shots off. Negotiator's Dilemma works best when multiple enemies are targeted by the critical hit thing. So let's go and say we use an exotic. We use the Diamondback. The Diamondback, you pop the enemy and you get that critical hit automatically for the next shots that you're going to be using. But then we have the only rifle in the game that has 5 bullets in it, like it was gonna be just the most meta weapon out there. The randomness of the fact of the Diamondback doing its thing is already a big no-no for the gun. The shoot that one guy that could be all the way over there, that he knows that you're targeting him, so he goes and hides behind cover. 2 other enemies push on you. You have to shoot somebody else. You've wasted a few shots. Now that one guy's done stood up because you're not focused on him anymore, and then you shoot him, but then you have to reload. But as soon as you reload, what happens? The perk starts over again. Why is there only 5 shots in the Diamondback? It's a rifle. But we have the M1A getting its it already got its unnerf, but the Diamondback can't get at least 5 more rounds in the magazine. I don't see it. We don't have synergy with a lot of the things we have going on in the game. What we have are, I wouldn't call them outliers, but we have things that push people into the meta because there's nothing else really synergistic to use. Trying to find fun and creative builds is becoming more and more difficult the more you start to get into the nitty-gritty of it. I tried to create a survivalist Mad Bomber type of build, and it was focused on Mad Bomber, getting that extra 50% radius and burning enemies with the flame grenades and whatnot, but the grenades don't do nearly enough damage. Why aren't our grenades doing the damage that they need to be doing? And then going back to synergy, the survivalist specializes in bleed. It specializes in bleed. It has a crossbow that inflicts bleed. If you double down on that and you use the ongoing directive that gives you more bleed and stuff that goes more and more to, you got like a predator's mark type of specialization, which is all good, but then they give you a flame grenade. Why? Why can't the demolitionist have the flame grenade and we have the bleed grenade from the demolitionist? So then we have more bleed. Why are they afraid to make these things line up properly? We're not going to break the game just because we get a grenade that synergizes with our specialization. I don't see the mindset that these developers have. I'm not a developer. I'm not a game developer by far, but I am a gamer, and I can see when things aren't working right like they are supposed to. I can tell you from experience that these things just don't add up. And when we examine it further and we start looking at it and putting it under the microscope, you'll start to see that these changes that they're making are basically band-aids that should have been patched into the game since day one. So we have the pandemic that's going on in the world. I still play Destiny 2. They're handling it. They handle their updates and they still have events going on. The excuse versus the reason of why they're not doing just doesn't add up. There's no communication going on proper with the development team and the community, because the community's talking about it, and then months and months later we get a fix for something. Now, it shouldn't be that way. It goes that way sometimes, but it seems like with this game it goes that way all the time. I like playing the game. I'm not against playing the game, but when things need to make an impact, they don't seem like they're doing what they need to be doing to create the impact that it needs. So more changes that may come with TU9. Those are some of the ones that I wanted to cover specifically in the way that these things should have been done forever ago. And the things that they're focusing on now, it shouldn't take this long to be this efficient with fixing the game that you've developed that's going to support millions and millions of players on multiple platforms. It's just not business savvy. You know what I mean? It's not beneficial to the community to keep playing the game as hardcore as they are. You know, it's good to take a break from the game, but it's not good to lose the player base. So if you guys want to see me fight Kajika, tune into my next video. I'll show that one right there. But as always, all good things must come to an end, and I'll see you in the next one.